Hi class, it's Miss Keys. I decided that today we need to do a little bit more of a review of doing reflections. So the first one we're going to look at is reflecting each of these points over the x-axis. So if we look at point A, that's -2, -2. You guys want to think of flipping that over that red line. So if I flip that over the red line, my point would end up being right here. That'd be A prime. And what would the coordinates of that be? The coordinates of that would be -2, 2. All right, number 2, we have the point B, which is 3, 2. And when we flip that over the x-axis, we would be at 3, -2. So I'm going to label that B prime and label that 3, -2. And then let's talk about the rule in coordinate notation. The rule for reflecting over the x-axis would be keep the x coordinate the same and change the y coordinate. So in our first one, we kept the A the same, the x coordinate, so -2 and -2. And then for our y value, we changed it from a -2 to a +2. Looking at number 2, for B, we kept the x coordinate the same. They were both 3. And then for the y coordinate, we changed it from a +2 to a -2. For number 3 and 4, we're going to reflect these over the y-axis. So we're going to reflect it over that red line right there. So when I reflect it over that, think of flipping it over that red line. We would be at this point right here. I'm going to label that A prime. So it's 2 units away from the y-axis on both sides. It's 2 units away here, 2 units away here. And our coordinate would be 2, -2. Let's look at number 4. Our point here is 3, 2. And when we reflect that over the y-axis, that would be right here. So I'm going to label that B prime. Again, this one is 3 units away from the y-axis. And the coordinate would be -3, 2. So looking at our rule for reflecting over the y-axis, we're going to do the opposite value for our x coordinate and then keep the y value the same. So looking at number 3, we kept the y value the same, but we changed the x value from a -2 to a +2. Same thing with number 4, we kept the y value the same, which was our 2, and then we changed the x value from a +3 to a -3. Alright, the last reflection that we did, you guys did a GeoGebra activity on it on Friday, and we realized that when we reflect a point over the line y equals x, our coordinates end up switching. So in coordinate notation, the x and the y values switch. So we would put our y value first and then our x value second. So for number 5, instead of it being -1, 2, the point is going to be 2, -1, which would be right here. I'm going to label that A prime, and I'm going to write 2, -1. Number 6, same thing. We're going to switch our x and y values, so we would have 1, 3. So that point would be right there, A prime, and I'm going to label that 1, 3. And that is it for our lesson today. Have a good day, guys.